Adaptive reuse is often promoted in architecture schools as an ecological design strategy, but its pedagogical power remains mostly unexplored, focusing mainly on superficial retrofitting or environmental efficiency. This research aims to expand that focus, showcasing how critical archival research can redefine the way we think about adaptive reuse in architectural education. Today, we'll explore how incorporating critical archival research into design pedagogy of adaptive reuse projects can enrich students' learning process and its associated outcomes. While adaptive reuse has typically been regarded as a solution to the growing need for sustainability, our teaching approach in Madrid School of Architecture throughout the last years has been consistently advocating to frame it in broader cultural and historical contexts of the built environment. In this research, we aim to argue that adaptive reuse should be viewed not just as a technical or sustainable issue, but as another type of documentary practice that engages with stories embedded in the buildings we transform. To further proof this, we conducted a one-month design workshop at the China Academy of Arts in Hangzhou in September 2025. The workshop was taught to last-year undergraduate architecture students, who were asked to critically engage with a series of 7 existing warehouses, which were originally built as a shipyard next to the Grand Canal in the Gongshu district in the city of Hangzhou in China. After introducing the assignment and providing the class with a critical bibliography and some architectural examples of reference, students were asked to investigate the status of the existing building, not simply through site visits to survey its current state, but by delving into historical records such as construction records, old photographs, and other archival sources. The goal was to convey the possible frame of these buildings not just as physical objects, but as layered historical constructs, shaped by multiple architectural and documentary operations over time. During the development of the sessions, 2 key moments in time allowed to raise awareness on the ability of archival research to contest the building's default information. At first, given the information collected through visits and contained in an inherited 3D SketchUp file from an urban survey of the area, we asked students to work with a collective physical model, including the immediate surroundings of the working area. During the first review, to our surprise, the distance between the columns was not equal between all of them, and some controversies appeared in the first laser-printed layout of the plan on a wooden panel. Students acknowledged having translated the dimensions from the digital drawing to the physical model. However, archival images and plans from the site showed a constant distance between all the columns. Students rapidly understood and engaged with this controversy by witnessing this dissonance by themselves, and consequently activated a higher level of awareness and negotiation towards the available records. This was more clearly evidenced when, after one of the site visits, students had to start the model making of the roof structure of the warehouses while not taking any information for granted. While some of them had already started model making the steel trusses of the present structure, archival images haunted the class again by showing an original concrete prefab structure built around the 1950s. With that in mind, students were asked to position themselves with a solid argument concerning whether to make the roofs with the current steel trusses and wooden panes, or rather conceive the future adaptive reuse of the site, considering the first original concrete prefab trusses and roof panels. Regardless of the outcome of the discussions that followed, students debated which historical narratives should be privileged and how these narratives influenced their design choices. For example, by prioritising the architectural features of a certain period, concrete prefab versus steel structures, they were able to bring new layers of meaning and operative possibilities into their designs. This, along with the first column distance controversy, had already installed a pedagogical distortion promoted by the records used in class. In this context, the archival records served as a pedagogical tool that allowed students to challenge the conventional view of architecture as a static or neutral end of a process, as rendered in its present appearance, but rather as an evidential and multi-layered instrument affected by other disciplines and contexts in time. Additionally, by analysing images in the archives, students were compelled to experience a key shift of perception, from buildings as static objects to complex instruments constantly evolving as the result of a series of design decisions. Eventually, this pedagogical operation also allowed to rethink how we use the available documents to discuss the election of different potential departure points in time for design and its influence in architectural proposals. While the impact of this approach on design education is still evolving, this research suggests that critical archival inquiry has the potential to reframe adaptive reuse from a technical problem into a more complex cultural practice. Instead of viewing the past as something to be overcome or erased, adaptive reuse claimed a different look to it as a source of knowledge, inspiration, and literal available material for new design solutions. Accordingly, when combined with a reflective archival approach, it broadens its scope, inviting us to reconsider what it means to design with past structures, not just with their final immediate built shape, but accounting its different manifestations and transformations in time. Only by acknowledging the different archival lives of a building that inform its present condition may we be able to fully implement proper adaptations or transformations of the built environment. With that in mind, the design studio can therefore become a site of transformation, not only of the physical spaces we work with, but also of the strategies we use to collectively think about and approach architectural histories. Ultimately, this research emphasises the possibilities of archival research as a pedagogical tool when combined with architectural design. It calls for a rethinking of how we teach architecture, urging us to move beyond the conception of history as a referential set of images to be used, copied or referenced, but rather to history as a set of evidential materials that bear hidden, operative design status, and strategies sedimented by the transformation of buildings through time. By engaging with archival materials, students can not only gain a deeper understanding of the buildings they are designing, but also contribute to a more critical and reflective discourse of the role of archives in architectural practice, beyond traditional preservation and restoration approaches. This intersection of archives and architecture in the educational realm, we believe, can lead to a more responsible, thoughtful, and culturally informed approach to designing with the existing built environment.